There is a thin divide between what is perceived as spiritual and paranormal, for they are forever entwined throughout time. Traveling within the history of the world, we can find examples of spirituality that involves everything from magic, spirits, gods and goddesses, and seers or people said to be able to talk to the dead. We all have our belief systems and we all have our own truths. So come sit with Holly Jenkins and myself as we talk about all that and more. Welcome to Spiritually Paranormal. Hey guys, Holly's going to be in a minute. She had to run a quick errand, so she'll be back in a little bit. But I'm going to take this time. I hope all of you, whoever's watching and listening right now, Pip is really loud, Mango's really loud. Pip is out, the toddler's in, so it's just Pip kind of making Mango a little crazy right now. But I wanted to say hi to everybody. I see Connie and Kay and Natalie and whoever else is coming in. I'll say hi as you check in. I did want to talk a little bit about something new. So periodically I get friends of mine, and I have like this huge network of amazing people. And I had a request a couple days ago from one of my friends who I adore. And he just popped out of nowhere and he says, let's have a conversation. So guess what? We're going to do a show, or I'm going to do a show whenever some of my friends need to get their messages out there, and it's going to be Conversations with a Bear. So that's going to be next Friday, I believe, is what we set it for. But it'll be available all the time after it's recorded. So no matter where you are or what time you're at, it will be available for you. And the guy that I'm bringing on is my brother from another mother, Joseph Amoroso, who I absolutely adore. He's a life coach. He works a lot with divine energies. He works a lot with the archangel numbers and the archangel, just the divine energies that give him messages. And so that's going to be the first one. And you guys will find him absolutely amazing. I love him dearly, and he does such important work. And especially at the time we're at right now, where a lot of us are just not sure what we can do to help some of the situations that are around. And I think that perhaps that may be what's going on with everybody, is because we have all this stuff going around. It's not about us having to take care of others. It's about us having to take care of self. So, excuse me. So I look forward to bringing him on so you all can meet him. And like I said, we're going to launch a new show, Conversations with a Bear. So I hope all of you have had an amazing last week. And I know today is kind of in the middle of the weekday. So, it's kind of like people are kind of pushing through it today. I made a couple phone calls this morning and wound up laughing with the people on the other end of the phone because they're like, is it just me or is the day kind of just discombobulated? It is. And we also had an eclipse happen on Saturday. Amazing energy from that. It absolutely pulled off and put out into the air. It kind of like, I don't know about you all, but it kind of wore me out a little bit and kind of like shook up the energy a little bit. So it was really kind of wonky, I guess would be a way to put it. So, excuse me, Connie, yeah, he's in group. He's in the group with us, by the way, over there, and he puts up the angelic calendar readings all the time up in the group over on the Wolf and the Bear Network. So you probably recognize him from there. But it's going to be fun. Absolutely. Is it? Fun. Yes, it is. I just told him news, and I think you missed the news.
Oh, you better tell me.
Okay, well, you know Joseph Amoroso. He's in our group. And I've had him on shows. We had him on radio and stuff a long time ago. He got hold of me over the past couple of days. I don't remember exactly. And he said, do you have time? Can we set something up? So we can talk. And I'm like, sure, not a problem. And then he goes, no, 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 not for a reading. He says, I want to talk. I says, okay, like, okay. I need to talk to people so they can kind of understand from my perspective what's going on in the world and the energies. And he died. Like, he had died and came back. So he's connected 1 foot in and 1 foot out. His insight is amazing. So I said, yeah, sure. And then when I was rereading, I realized he wanted to come on air and do it. So I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to do that. And you can do this too. We'll just put conversations is going to be the name of it. And if you have somebody you want to bring on and talk to, you can do it on your own, but we're going to have that header from now on. So if one of us has one person we want to bring in, and it doesn't matter how many times, you know, it could be once a month, it could be 5 times, you know, it's whatever it calls for. But I know between you and I, we have many, many people that we network with, and I know their opinions matter, especially.
Yes.
So thoughts on that?
I love it. That's a great idea.
I like this with us talking about what we do and how things affect us. I want to keep us solid in this place, and a lot of people like it. Hi, Angelia. How are you?
Who else in here? Who else in here?
There's a lot of people watching.
Natalie,
yeah,
Angelina.
There's a lot more people watching. Pip.
Oh, let me share it. I have it. Oh my gosh, I'm so off. Share now.
Yeah, I was just saying about how weird we had that eclipse. Hi, Lisa. How are you? From San Francisco. How are you? I hope you're well.
Yeah, I got a pretty good picture. I have a great story. I can't wait to tell the story. Oh, it cracked me up so much. It cracked me and Robert up both. Okay, so we decided to go that Saturday to go down Notches Trace. It's a 444 mile road that's from Nashville down to Notches, Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
And it's all scenic. There's hardly any traffic. The bicyclists like to go there because there's hardly any traffic. And it's these beautiful winding roads in the country, and it's just beautiful. So it was real cloudy in Nashville and Ashland City, and we were like, well, we're probably not even going to get to see this eclipse. Yeah. So we get to driving, and by the time once we get to Notches Trace, the sky opens up, and it's just some white clouds here and there and blue sky. And I'm like, okay. And I'm keeping an eye on the clock so I could stop at some point to see if I can get some pictures. And I had left my camera at work, so I didn't have my camera. I just had my phone. So I pull over when I think it's really close to its peak, and I get some shots, and I get some pretty good shots and video. And then we are going on down the road, and we probably traveled about 100 miles down the trace. And we stopped at this one little part that was Meriwether Lewis, where he had died.
Yeah.
And these guys would pull out because there's a little cabin there, and we want to take pictures. And there's the 2 guys in this pickup truck already there, and we get out of the car, and one of them just instantly says, have you been watching the eclipse? And I said, yeah. And he says, oh, let me show you these pictures I just took. And his friend's like, yeah, he got a big telescopic lens. And they had driven down from Indiana to get these photos because it was real cloudy up there as well. So he was like so proud. He's flipping through and showing me. The problem was, like, he zoomed in so close, it just looked like circles, a black circle and a white circle, you know. And it was, if he had zoomed out a little bit more, it would have looked better, I think. It was just, you know, here it is. And I said, oh, I got a picture. And I scrolled through my phone and held it up, and his buddy goes, dang, hers is better than yours. I didn't smirk. I kept a straight face, and I was just continued to look at his and tell him how great his were. But as me and Robert walked away, we were like, "Oh my God,
But
these poor fellas."
that's all about how we look at things, how we perceive things. You know,
Yeah.
as excited as he was to do it, he's probably like not used to setting up a shot. And you and I have worked, I've worked photography, you have for years, and you guys are awfully loud. Is it because Holly's here? Even the kids are wound up. Like, guys, stop. But yeah, I couldn't even see it. We went up to my other daughter from another mother had her wedding this weekend, and we went up, and Taylor and David were standing up in it, and it was set by a lake. It was freezing. It was an outside wedding. The girls all had sleeveless dresses. I felt so bad.
Oh God.
It looked beautiful, and they were troopers, and they got through it. And I thought, oh, the eclipse. And I was like, oh man, because I wasn't going to see it. And so I got back, and I didn't go to the reception too much for me, too many people for me. I just didn't go, but the kids did. So when I was sitting, I was like so bummed out, and I found out one of my sons from another mother who grew up with Taylor, he had taken on his phone a picture of the eclipse out over Lake Huron here. And he was actually, I don't know what to call it, air surfing or what. You get like a board, but you go up with the parachute. It's like glider.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah.
he goes, he was like this he's an adrenaline junkie. He was when he was little, and I've known him since he was like 7 years old, and he's 31 now, and he's still he's very smart though, worked for NASA and all that kind of stuff. But he went out there and he took it with his phone. I was like, wow, that's amazing. And it was actually from his phone, so it was like you're saying, yours probably were, and he saw it in phases, so he was taking it in phases, and I asked him if I could borrow it because a lot of people missed it because of the clouds. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you got to see it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, we had, and I had gotten the times wrong. I had seen the TikTok that put the time for each state. Well, Tennessee has two time zones, Eastern and Central. I'm
Really?
in, yep, I'm in the Central time zone, and they must have put the Eastern time for the peak. And so my mind, and so it had gone just past the peak whenever I was getting photos. And I still didn't realize it though. I wasn't thinking about it. And then when we stopped again, I was like, it should be right at its peak right now. And we stopped, and I was like, what? What? It was almost done. I was like, whatever. But I did at least get that one. So
Yeah, that's really great. Catherine Burnell, hey, how are you from Florida? I hope you're well. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Jamie DeVos, I hope things are going well for you. And Chloe's here, and Kay's here. And hi, Chloe. Thank you for that. Um, yeah, it's been, I don't know though, after that day, it was really kind of funky energy. It was, I almost felt like I was stuck in mud trying to move around and stuff. It was, and I still felt that until like yesterday, actually. So I don't know. I don't know what's.
well, I had planned on Sunday doing some decorating because I'm going to have a Halloween party for the kids. I got suckered into it again, so because I wasn't going to do it this year. And then I called my cousin. She's like, "Yeah, yeah, we're coming," and I'm like, "Okay, okay, okay, I'll do it." So I
I
was going
know.
to do that. I was going to do that, but I ended up sleeping most of Sunday. I didn't
Yeah,
do
well, that was
anything.
me. After the kids left, I said I might as well have gone to the reception because a couple of them were kind of hungover because it's a family thing, and they just had a blast. It was a big
Yeah.
party. But I was so exhausted when they left. That's all I wanted to do Saturday or Sunday and into actually Monday. But between Saturday and Sunday, I don't know when night began and morning happened because they all didn't come in. They came in the second time. Well, first time was at 1:30 to get out of their wedding stuff, and then they came back at 3:30. So yeah, that was fun. And oh, love this. We have a knocker in the house.
Oh.
Yep. It's only knocking in one place. It's knocking across the hall in the spare bedroom. And Dave was sitting on the edge of the bed, and he come out. He goes, "You guys, that's not funny." And we're all like, some of them are in the kitchen. I was in there on the computer, and Taylor was outside. I said, "What are you talking about? Which one of you did it?" "Taylor, I know you did it." I said, "Taylor's outside. What are you talking about?" And I had heard it, but I thought it was him just doing something in the other room. Nope. And then after we said that and he went back in, it did it again. And he was freaked out. Well, he's very sensitive, but he's a little worried about opening it. So thank you, Margaret and Chloe again. He was freaked out. And, he had a couple beers, so that opened him up more. And I was like, God, that's really weird. And he comes in here and he goes, "Why aren't they knocking in your room?" I go, "Well, I have them all the time, but this is really interesting. Since I finished the Francis painting and it's hung in my room here to dry, I've had calm and quiet in my room.
Ooh, maybe you need to leave it there for a while.
Only thing that happens is on the other side of the doorway. And I was kind of fascinated by that. And I kept thinking about it. I thought it's just your imagination. Then last night, I'm sitting in here. It was about 9 o'clock. And I hear knock, knock, knock. And it's like, okay, we got another knock, knock, knock. So I text David, right? I go, "Oh yeah, just so you know, you left the knocker behind." He goes, "Oh my God."
Your sound keeps cutting it out. I don't know if it's because the birds or what, but your sound ever so often will cut completely out.
Let me go back out and come back in.
Hey, everybody. It's just me.
Not
There you
now.
are.
You move. Maybe because I had to be on the right side. Who knows? Can you hear me now?
It was weird.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, right now, it's just ever so often. It's not constant. It's almost like, when on TV they bleep out people saying bad words and
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
don't hear something for a second. That's what's
Yeah,
happening
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
you.
He's been using the bad word for 2 days, and I don't know why. I'm like so mad at him right now because I keep saying stop. He hasn't said it in a long time, and he's like saying it a lot more. Anyway, I text Dave when it happened. I said, "You left the knocker behind." He goes, "Oh my God, I swear to God, we were just talking about it." And I go, "Well, apparently they recognized it and they wanted you to know." And he says, that makes me nervous. I go, "No, it's not bad. I would definitely tell if it was like malicious, but it's not." So that's happened. And I find it very fascinating with the painting. That's the only thing I can figure. And when the kids came in, they had not seen it. And they were
Well,
like,
you channeled that energy. So that
yeah,
energy is in that painting. So I would
yeah.
leave it there for a while until you feel like it needs to go.
Well, this Christmas, I think I'm going to give it to Tay and Dave's best friends because they absolutely loved it. And Kieran, who came in and took care of my furnace and everything. I have kids and it's great. But he's winterized, made sure it was ready for winter. He just stood there and he kept coming in and staring at it. And he said, "This is just freaking amazing. I love it. I love St. Francis. He's worked with the Capuchin monks. So I think they're going to get that for Christmas from me because it's going to be a lean Christmas this year."
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Oh, I
I've
got to
got
notice my mortgage payment is going up by $100 next month. And it's like, okay, well, the good news is my
Well,
property's
that
worth
will
more.
be probably it's either your taxes or both taxes and insurance.
It's both. My taxes went up. The guy was here. He reevaluated the house, and the value went up. So now it's being taxed more. So
Right.
I'm
Well,
like,
you can still though check your insurance and make sure you're getting the best rate, and you can always change insurance to help lower it if you need to.
well, it might come to that. I'm not really sure yet, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Do
that
some
was a shock.
do some shopping around, see what you can find.
Yeah, I will. So yeah, get Lisa. Yeah, a lot of people have got Holly's got one. I've got a painting of Holly's in the house, and it stays there. And
I've got your dream catcher and the
yeah.
painting. Yeah.
So yeah. So I don't know if it's been an influx or I'm just seeing an influx. I'm seeing more and more teachers or people in the field talking about totems.
Hmm.
Yeah, like spiritual guides. And I was actually kind of shocked because it's been over like a period of 4 days that I've seen it, not just here, but other places.
Right.
And I'm wondering if totem or animal guides are connecting because, like I said, everybody's become, excuse me, more aware of things and they're connecting with people on a higher level. What are you laughing at?
As
What are
you're
you?
saying that, just yesterday, no, actually, it was this morning. I just uploaded a new notebook template for to Amazon. As soon as it gets approved, I'm going to send it to you. It's
Oh my God.
ooh, ooh. You know who it is. You know what's on it, don't you?
No,
Think about it.
no. Little people again,
What do I work with all the time?
little people again, and clovers. I don't like you.
It's little autumn fairies.
Oh,
They're begging you to work with them, Bear. They're begging you.
whatever. I'm just starting to work again with the spirit walkers, so maybe they'll come out and harass me there. I've gotten some. That's another thing. Oh, you just be quiet, you. Be quiet. Be quiet. Where's
Hmm.
Tada today? I thought everything was going good in her house with everybody. I need no, she'll pick on me more. Pip, come here and stick up for me. Scream in Holly's
Oh,
ear. Um, yeah, I'm actually being driven to do more stuff. Shut up, I swear.
I just had another evil thought.
Yeah, well, it is that time of month.
Have you been seeing the 3D printed dragons and things?
I've been seeing dragons everywhere.
So I ordered one. I ordered one for myself, and it came today, and I can't wait to go home and get it and unbox it.
That's
Yeah.
my
So this
dream.
is those 3D printed dragons, the ones that move around and everything.
Yeah, I've seen dragons everywhere recently. I even saw caterpillars that look like dragons. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so this
Well,
dragon is
my evil mind just
fine.
went to, I wonder if anybody's doing any 3D printed fairies. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you.
Okay.
I can't help it. I don't know what's got into me. But I will say, you're talking about the energy and talking about the totems. Um, Monday came in, felt that, the usual. Tuesday came in, and I was like, I've been feeling like almost kind of in a limbo state.
Flat.
Uh,
Flat.
uh,
It's like
yeah, like I
no
haven't touched
energy.
that dot painting. I haven't really. I've done a couple of books, but little books out of poems that I've written years ago. And today I was filled with an excitement, like something is changing. Something is changing. Something is coming. And I don't know what it is, but it feels very good, very positive. And I thought the first thing that came to my mind is the light is winning. The light is gaining ground. And so this morning, I also, after that thought, the next thought was, okay, what am I going to work on today? What kind of project am I going to do? Because, I have to be doing something. And so
Bring them up. You can come to my house. There's plenty to do here.
I'm doing Little Crow's bad day, where Little Crow wakes up in a bad mood because the owls in the tree next to him were learning how to hoot and screech and holler, and he didn't get any sleep, and then all these little things happened to him throughout the day, making him have a bad day. And then he runs up again into one of his other animal friends, this turtle named Tank. And Tank tells him that it's all about perspective, that he can turn that bad day around into a good day. And Tank tells him how to do that.
Oh, that's cool.
Tank tells him how to do that, and then he starts having a much better day. So that's what I'm writing about today.
That's cool. We've had talking about crows. I had ravens yesterday, like a murder of ravens. Like there were flat, and they were sitting out in the tree, like right in front of my front room. And then some of them were on the ground and they were yelling, but they were looking at the house. And I got up and I'm like, because they're not scared of me. I got up and I opened the window. I'm like, what are you guys doing out here? You're making too much noise. And they just looked at me and then they started again. So I don't know what that was about, but they've been around the house quite a bit lately. So it's a lot.
Yep. I just feel this tremendous positive energy, this amazing amount of light that is coming in, and something really good. There's some, I think it's multiple things. I think it's across the board. I think for people that are, let's just say the people that are in the right mindset are going to be receiving something good in the coming days, weeks, and months. People in the wrong mindset, they're still going to forever be looking for it because they're not attracting that positive energy. They're
Yeah.
attracting what they're sending out, and it's all negative energy and fear.
Yeah. And if you really, even if you look at the news and just things in general that are happening,
Don't look at the news.
no,
Just
but what
don't.
I'm saying is there's a
Yeah.
shift there as well. It's like a lot of these crazy people that have been, propaganda and whatever involved in hate and violence. It's like there's been a switch because they're trying to gain more power, I guess would be a way to put it, or more attention, and they're kind of getting smacked. And I'm all for smacking them, because the big thing with a lot of people, and I know I even feel this way, it's like, okay, so this happened, and this happened. What can I do as an individual to help that situation? And most
Right.
of us are in that same place. We can't. I mean, where we live, or we're not near where it is, and most of us don't have money to toss, or you know what I'm saying. And it's like
Yeah.
we're struggling with that a bit. And I know a lot of people are very sad. Some of them are diving in and they're oh well, this is right and this is wrong and I'm standing here. And it's like, no, war is never good. Doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on. And I think a lot of people are really struggling right now. And I'm hoping, like what you're saying, is going to come in and kind of give a lot of people that relief that really the only thing you can do is send good thoughts or prayers, out to these situations. Because
Yep.
what else are we going to do?
Right. Exactly. We just don't keep feeding the fear, and don't be one of those people, because there are a few people, and I know two specific come to mind. They do readings and some astrology and stuff like that. They're always pushing out fear when they're
Yeah.
doing their readings. It's all based around fear, and it just like, why are you doing that? It doesn't have to be that way.
No.
They're just feeding that fear, and the people that are sucking it in are just sending it right back out. You got to switch it up, and you got to change everyone's perspective.
Well, and that's like, we've always told people, I don't care if they come to me or you or whoever, but make sure that they're like a good source.
Right.
I had somebody pop in again, and this was like, I don't know, probably the third time. She doesn't come every week, but she pops on. I'm assuming it's a her. But every time she comes on, she asks, like, am I going to be with this guy? Am I going to have fun with him? Am I going to blah, blah, blah? And I said, I stopped because I wanted to address it. And I said, look, I said, what I give people is for situations that are going on in their life. If you want this to be a good date, or if you want to know if you're going to be with us, that's up to you. Those are your choices, your personal choices on how you act or react to things. We're in control of that. I'm not in control of that. So I always tell them, no, I'm not going to give you a reading on, because it's you need to take responsibility for your choices.
Right,
And
exactly.
like
They don't want that responsibility. They want someone else to tell them exactly what to do, who to date, who to go after, all of this, and tell them that they're going to be happy.
Yeah.
Well, until you decide to be happy, you're not going to be happy. Until you decide to let go, you're not going to let go. Until you decide to heal, you're not going to heal.
Yeah. Oh, that's 100%. You know, you've talked about that with me. I mean, you have to allow that healing to happen. And I had always thought I was allowing, but I wasn't. And until I was, then once I did that, things flipped. And it has better outcome. It has better
This is
out-
the thing I've started doing lately because I've been trying so many things. Because ever since I got sick, and then I had all the problems with my feet for over a year, and now my feet are feeling better. My back is like "Ugh," this. I still can't physically do the things I want to do so badly. So I'm telling my body every day, let go of the trauma. It's okay. There's no trauma right now. You can let that go. You can release it. I talk to my body every day now. I'm like, those fat cells you've been hanging on to because of old trauma, let them go.
yeah.
That pain that you're holding on to for old trauma, let it go. My brain has let it go, so my body needs to let it go as well.
But that's not an easy task. And
No,
y'all
no,
need to
you
know
got to
that.
be consistent.
Yeah. It's just it isn't an easy task to do that because a lot of times we're holding things that we don't even realize we're holding.
Yeah,
And one of the things, and I think we talked about this a little bit before, was when you're sitting, you actually have to make a conscious thing. Like I go from the top of my head down. Okay, you need to relax. You take a
yep,
breath in, you need to relax. I'll even
yep,
find at night when I'm laying in bed, I'm all tight and jacked tight. My muscles are tight and it's still hurt. And I'm like, relax. And you almost have to make that a ritual thing to tell your body to do it so it lets go of all that negativity that is keeping you tense. So
right.
absolutely 100%. Yeah, that's
Yep.
great.
So yeah, you got to learn how to every single day, like throughout the day. I've got the little sign right here on my desk. I'm gonna take it off. I've got it taped. I'm gonna take it back. Can you read that?
What's the best that could happen? Yep.
And I'll make sure I say it on my way to work. I say it on my way home. Throughout the day, randomly, I will say, "What's the best that can happen?" Come on, universe, show me the best. I want to experience the best thing that could possibly happen today. And I
Yeah.
just keep doing it. And every day is not going to be amazing. You
No.
can't expect that, but you never know when something amazing really will happen.
But I can tell you, and I don't know how to explain it because I put something out the other day and I was very specific and I'm just like, I'm handing it to you and, whatever's going to, and it was like almost instantaneous results. I was like, whoa, my phone started dinging. And I'm like, what the? And I mean, what I had asked for, and it's still coming in. And I'm like, wow, okay. And I mean, that's happened to me before. And I'll preach it till cows come home. But it's like when it happens and people realize that's how you change your way you're moving through life because you
Right.
have to be very precise you do get responses. And again, when I look back on my life, some of those responses were huge. And I know you've had the same thing. It's
Right.
crazy. Like,
When you feed the fear, when you feed anger and you feed whatever emotion you're feeding, that's the emotion that's going to grow and that's the energy that's going to continue to come back to you like a yo-yo. And you have to feed it a different perspective. Jillian is saying, I feel like my left shoulder is higher than my right when I lie down. Why is that? Well, there could be all kinds of reasons, but you need to make
still
sure
relax.
that you're relaxing your body equally. You're holding on to some kind of energy in one part more than the other side.
Yeah, I would also venture to say that because you're holding that stress, that's where you're holding all the negativity. Like me, it's always my low back. That's where I automatically store all that stuff. But if you're having this issue, and there could be very well physical issues with your spine that are causing your gait or the way you walk. But if you kind of take that time to do what I always say, the 7 breaths, take them in, hold it, and then release it, one for each direction, and just consciously relax. And when you do that, it's like, wow, wow. And it was like, for me, it was like, oh wow, I didn't even realize
Yeah, right,
that's
that
how
you
I
were
felt,
holding tension and stress in that part of your body. But if
Yeah.
you work your head, and it doesn't matter, you can go from head to toe or from toe to head, but just like notice your toes and then relax your toes. Notice your ankles and then relax your ankles, your calves and your knees, and you move on up. And you'll realize that, wow, I was holding tension in a place I didn't even realize I was holding
Yeah.
tension.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm still to this day, because I'm making a more conscious effort to do that every day, and it helps. I mean, it helps my overall the way I feel. But just putting those positives out. I know I've told this story a while ago, a few times. When I had that show in Chicago with all my artwork, and I got accepted to it. It cost a lot of money to go down there, and I pass through the judging, because they do jury
Yeah.
win and blah blah blah. And I got to the 2 days before I was supposed to leave in the truck. I was like, well, I need help. I need, if I'm supposed to be this way, I go and do this thing. I'm leaving it to you. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm sure you've got it. And the very next day after the mail came in, I walked out and I still, was like, okay, I'm like 2 grand short of what I need to go down there. And I opened the mailbox, and lo and behold, I had a check from Chrysler for stock. They couldn't find where I went. My dad had left me as the recipient if once he passed. They were looking for me for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
So what is the coincidence? And the place that I was at, I had only been there for 3 months. So it literally found me, and I opened it, and it was to a penny the exact amount I needed to get.
Wow.
So,
Yep.
if you put it out there, and, you just kind of forget about it. I don't get worked up about stuff anymore. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, if that's going to happen, then, I need something better to come in. I would appreciate for the highest good, and it does. And again, there's no like written way to do it, or no explanation, or you can't, but it works. And yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Kay says she's a little lost and she'll get back to being happier, awaiting it all to click into place. You can't. You're basing whether or not you're happy today on a future event. Why not be happy with what you have in this moment right here? No, everything's not going to be perfect, but it doesn't, just because it's not perfect doesn't mean you can't be happy. Just because you're not out of a bad situation doesn't mean you can't find some sort of happiness within yourself.
Yeah,
You
it's
just
true.
can't base it on a future event. You have to find that peace and that happiness right here, right now, in every single moment.
Well, I have an interesting thing. I'm going to shift it a little bit. And I was interested in the fact I was talking to kids that were 28 to maybe 33. And I do call them kids because I'm old enough to be all their moms. Um, but they are spiritual, but they don't believe in church or religion, which it was kind of, I mean, I don't either,
The
but
younger generations are moving away from religion more and more.
and actually, two of them said, well, I don't know if you consider me an atheist, but I don't believe in the church. But I believe about this, this, and this. And I don't believe necessarily there's a heaven and a hell the way people describe it. I think hell can be even here on earth, and where we go in the other places, energy. I don't know that it's heaven as people have made it out to be. And I was actually kind of shocked, not in a bad way, but I was kind of shocked at some of the responses. Because they were just talking. I wasn't even in the conversation at that point. And I was like, wow, this is really interesting. And I'm wondering if, because so many of them are really feeling more spiritual than anything. Because I mean, they all could call me. They all call me when they need prayer. Can you please put prayer up for whatever it is, So they know there's a higher source, right? But it's interesting to me because I'm wondering if that's why light is winning. I'm wondering if that's why people, their energies are, some of them, not all of them, are raising because they have that belief. And like, maybe, like humans call it the veil or whatever, but
When someone asks you to pray for them, even though they may or may not be religious, they understand the fact that that good intent and that good energy going out into the universe directed at them is going to do them good. That's the thing with the younger people. They're all about the vibe.
yeah, they are. But they're very, very, like, knowledgeable. Like, they're really in touch with that. Like, when I said Kieran, he came in and he was like fascinated with that painting, and he was like, I was like blown away by the stuff he wound up sitting on the edge of the bed, and he was talking about all this and how he worked with the Capuchins. He loves how they are in the community, and he says, I'm not really. He said, he looked at me and says, I think I'm an atheist. I said, so you don't believe in anything? He says, well, no. And I said, no, you're not an atheist. You just have different way you're putting your beliefs together, right? So yeah, it made me have hope, I think, is what it made me feel for the younger generation, not
Yeah.
teens, but like, late 20s, early 30s, just kind of made that happen. And I thought, wow, I'm glad they do that. But again, they all call and say, hey, can we have prayer? So it's like, yeah, okay. The quote, don't worry, be happy, may be a hard concept for people letting to, letting to,
Letting go, I think she meant.
yeah. No, and that is, the biggest thing. Like, even I had that reading the other day where that gal said, am I going to be happy with it? You got to put in the work. And one of the big things people also have to do, and this is one of the big things that it doesn't come up all the time, but with some of the clients I have, it's like you need to be able to look in the mirror and say, I like that person looking back at me. I love that person looking back at me. Do I have room for improvement? Absolutely 100%. Have I done crappy shit to people in their life over my years? Yeah, absolutely correct. We've all done it. And that's okay, because we learn from all that. And not being guilty. That's another thing. That's a big thing, especially with our generation,
Yeah.
because you have to switch it up. We have to take care of ourselves first. Whereas where we were growing up, like we've talked about, it's been like, well, we were last. You take care of
Yep.
everybody else first. And that's not the way it needs to be anymore. People
Right.
need to wake up. People need to wake up for sure.
Yeah, self-care and loving yourself is not it's not a selfish thing at all. It's a necessary thing. And as far as like being happy, I am a happy person. That's the thing. And there's not a person, another person or event or thing that makes me happy. I am a happy person, period. There are things in my day that I don't love, but they don't take away my happiness
Yeah.
because it doesn't come from events or things outside of myself. I think that's the thing that people are having a hard time grasping is happiness is a state of being. You don't have to have money, you don't have to have things, you don't have to have certain people in your life.
Right.
It is a state of being. And once you get past all that external stuff and realize that, you'll be a different person completely. Because one, when somebody comes in that is the wrong person to be in your life, whether they're a friend or whatever, you're going to say, "There's the door, Felicia. Bye."
One of the kids, Cynthia's daughters, her youngest daughter, we're really close, and she came up not this past time, but time before. She goes, "You are the crankiest bear I've ever met." I looked at her. I said, "Excuse me?" She says, "You are just cranky pot." And I'm like, and all it was her mother, because that's what her mother always used to say. I go, "Why would you say that? Because you don't look happy." I'm like, I'm happy. I'm fine. Just because I don't look it doesn't mean I don't feel it. I said, maybe it's because you guys all drive me crazy, so I have cranky face on all the time. But you gotta laugh at, if we can't laugh at ourselves and some of the predicaments we get in, you know, even when I was, like you said, look in the good in every situation, there's always something good. when I was in the hospital, when you were in the hospital. You know, it sucked. It wasn't
Uh,
great because we
yeah.
were there. Yet we did have blessings. We did have an excellent care team. We had people praying for us. We had friends checking in on us. You know, so those were the positives. Yeah, what happened to us, we weren't happy with, but everything else, there's still little blessings in what we need to look for.
Yep.
Absolutely. Hi, Monica.
Absolutely.
So what else is going on this week?
Um, I don't know. I created a bunch of notebooks. I created 13 new notebooks yesterday, but I don't have them all uploaded because Amazon is limiting me to only 3 uploads a day. How dare they?
Yeah, because you're an overachiever. They're probably like, "Oh, this chick's Looney Tunes. Why are we
And
getting this can't keep up with it?"
I'm working on Little Crow's Bad Day that I hope to get done with today, but I won't be able to upload it until tomorrow.
Well, I've been writing, but what I've been doing is channeling for the paintings for the deck. And that's really actually takes a lot out of you to sit there and do that. So I'm allowed like 2, sometimes 3 a day. And I'm trying to right now I'm just putting it in Word and I'm pulling stuff from other places. But it's like what you're doing for you is the kid, it's for kids. It's very important for young people. And in that journal you have, even for the adults, it kind of gives you clarity and kind of a little bit of an order. Me,
I love this one. I
yeah,
love this one.
yeah, they don't work with me that way. That's not how they do with me. They just drop a bunch of stuff on my lap and say, "Here you go, have fun." And I'm like,
And then you got to figure it
seriously?
all out.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh my gosh.
seriously?
Well, I wish I had, what we grew up with was what? The traditional fairy tale little stories for kids. We didn't have like things that talked more about what I talk about. And every single book that I've written for the kids, there are lessons and morals and life things in there, things that they need to grasp and understand. And I've even got 2 meditation books for kids to learn how to meditate.
They want to
And
know, but they
yeah,
want to know. The little kids want it. The kids want to know. I've had several of them, like 6, 7, 8 year olds. Like, how do I do that? Like your grandsons. It's like, we want to know how to do this and what happens when we do it. And I
and
can honestly say it does make a difference with kids.
yeah. I wish
100%.
I'd had these kind of things, books when I was a kid. And man, I would have loved it. I would have been so much better off if I had a lot of those things in my life at that time. So that's why I'm going to just keep doing it. And I don't sell a whole lot. Sales are very few and far between. I haven't put any money into advertising yet, but I'm hopeful that they'll catch on at some point.
Oh, and
Uh,
like I said, I want to get some for the kids for Christmas, but I'm waiting because all the other stuff's been going on. But it's like the people that need to get it will get it right now, and then
yeah.
it'll be like, and I
You
keep
want to know what my number one selling book is right now?
the
I've
bear.
got 94 titles, and it is The Adventures of Coda and the Seven Sacred Teachings.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that something
That's
that, I
awesome.
mean, I just got goosebumps.
Yep,
Isn't
that's
that
awesome.
something that's the one that I've sold the most of? I
Yeah,
mean, way more of those than any other book.
yeah, sticks and stones. Yeah, that's what we had.
Yep.
Yeah, that's but you got to look too, and like that was our generation, and I mean like when you're talking these kind of books, I had Rosemary Altea, I had Sandra Brown, and she didn't even come in until later. I had Echo Bodine, which I absolutely love, and then Raymond Moody, who was a doctor, so he was studying death. Those are the 4, and they were only 4 books. I
Yeah.
mean, they weren't like more titles than one. So when we were starting this, and I'm a little older than you, so it goes back a little farther, that's all we had. And if we try to talk about it with anybody, they thought we were like, okay,
Looney Tunes.
and they back
Exactly.
up away from you. So it's kind of crazy. I have something too, and I'm going to bring this up. And this is a thought process I had over the weekend. There are some paranormal shows there's one on particularly right now that they're actually have come across, and I truly believe it because I had like the hair stand up on the back of my neck. And I'm not going to say it out loud, but the D word, right? And it actually made me shut the TV off.
Oh, wow.
Because the energy, even though they had taped it, the energy from the D, and that's all I'll call them, and they've actually identified what D it is, and it responded through Spirit Box, through an Ovilus. I mean, it was so bizarre. And there were things happening at one location on the place, and they had two teams that were doing two different things. One went down into a cave. What he was saying, a medium was telling them back at the other location what was happening.
Oh, wow.
And I looked at that and I thought, oh, yeah, no, this isn't good. And I just want to put out there, and I was actually kind of surprised, to be honest with you. But I think some of them that really, really tap into the darkness of what can be causing some of these hauntings or however, I think you have to be very careful, even watching them.
Oh, yes.
I
I
don't feel
agree.
I don't feel they have space and time like humans do, and that's pretty much why I shut it off.
And what another thing that freaks me out every time I see it, and I'm like, no, that should not be a thing. People have now. There's a Ouija board tables. There's a Ouija board rugs. All these. No, that don't buy those things. Don't do it.
Well,
And to answer.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
To answer Michelle Keene, it's easier to find all my books on Amazon to go to hljenkins.com. That's where you'll find all of my stuff for the kids.
Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, sure.
This is the one is the biggest selling one right now. The Adventures of Coda and the Seven Sacred Teachings. I think there's reason for that. And it makes me feel good that this story, this thing
that's another one that's good.
Yeah, it's so popular. And I'm like so happy about it.
There you go. That's a goodie.
Yeah.
That's the one. So that's cool. Yeah.
The adorable fox.
Yeah.
The watching these shows that have these evil demons and stuff, they can come right through. That energy comes right through into your living room, into your house, and it affects everything. And I
absolutely 100% shut it off because it was,
you don't want that energy.
But what's happening with them is real. It's not entertainment. It's real. And one of the mediums that's there, Sarah, she's from down south, and she's like our age or in between our age, and she's amazing. And she picked up on it right away. She was like getting sick, like physically ready to throw up. And it's like, oh yeah, no, people shouldn't be watching this because it's like you're going to invite, or worse yet, they could say, oh, I can do that, and they're going to go out.
Don't be trying that. You don't want to open up that box. You just don't. You don't understand what you're inviting into your world.
The Ouija board stuff, I totally understand what you're saying, but I will raise my hand. I got a table, an antique table, round table that was $5. It matches a piece that I had from 1920, and it's like the same collection.
It better not have a Ouija board on it.
No, I'm putting a dream catcher on it, and then I'm putting the directions on it, but none of the Ouija board stuff. No.
Yeah. Dream catcher. Yeah, good. That's good. But no, none of that. No spirit. Spirit boards.
No, and actually, it had the woodworking around the edge was crisscrossed like a braid, so I've painted that green so it looks like sweetgrass going on.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not done with it yet, but it's.
I can't wait to see it when it's done.
Yeah, I don't know when I'm going to use it, but it's cool. I don't have anywhere to put it in my house except where it's sitting right now, and that's not where it can stay. And I kept hearing and this was very interesting. I had somebody get a hold of me that wanted me to come down. They have they call it a Mid Michigan. It's a paranormal show, like event, where people are going in to do readings or people are going in to show their equipment and all that. I was shocked. It's here in Michigan. And I was like, oh, maybe I need to do that next year. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so things are always constantly changing, and everybody just has to find joy in whatever they can find joy in that day and don't dwell on. I told somebody recently, maybe yesterday, quit looking at the glass half empty.
Right.
Look at the glass, it's half full. Like,
look at a glass that is refillable.
Yeah.
Again and again and again and again. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, it drives me.
You have a vessel there that can be refilled and refilled and refilled.
There's a couple people I know, and that's all they ever do is, well, why is this happening? I can't.
Oh, yes.
Everybody else's fault. And it's like, stop. You're the one that's bringing that in. Why does this always, it happens every time. Like, why does it have to happen this way? Well, because you keep bringing that energy in. So,
Yep. You keep saying it. And they are the people that keep saying, why me? Or, where I just lost that thought. Yep. It's gone. It's gone.
It's gone. From here. Yeah, Joyce, the Hell House down in mid-Michigan, absolutely. That's Steve Shippey's. He went there and investigated it several times. There's several shows about it. They actually did. I had no problem with that. And he had a couple different mediums come in. Kaysa came in one time, and I think Sarah went in the other time. And they got some really good information, but they did find out where it came from. And actually, one of the brothers just passed away. They were like my age. One of the brothers just passed away this year at the beginning of the year. But they moved out of that house, and it was a farmhouse. But across the street, they had a practicing dark witch. Everybody knew it. She was burning pentagrams out in the fields. They found stuff that she had placed under their home, like talismans, like curse type stuff. And yeah, it's really good. Ship is really, really good at what he does, and he protects. But his main thing is he goes out and protects people that are there. And when he finds something that's really negative like that, he gets somebody that's like a professional in that particular field. Like Bellinger went in. Bellinger, she's like objects, dark objects and stuff like that. She knows what they are and what you need to do to get rid of them and fix them. And that always brings me to the same question. Why do people want to collect dark objects?
Yeah, no. People love to collect haunted things or things that they think are haunted, especially those creepy dolls. Forget that.
Oh, those Victorian
thank you.
Well, it's even like there was a big thing last year about the Dibbit boxes, and I don't know if you know what those are.
Do you remember when was it? Was it back in the early part of 2000 when somebody sold that ghost in a jar on eBay?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then everybody started doing these empty jars saying there was a ghost in the jar.
Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, I don't collect objects, and I love Bishop Long, Jim Long. I love him. He is amazing, and he'll go in and help people rid their houses of negatives or negative spirits, whatever. And the only thing
some people just need to be evicted from their own property, and it won't be negative anymore.
Well, yeah, that's true. I would like to try that with next door, but I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, Chip Coffee's really good too. He's actually got a new thing coming out.
Throw some chicken bones in her yard. She'll be gone in a month or two.
Oh yeah.
I didn't say that.
No, I didn't hear you say that.
No.
Yeah, no, I won't do that. But yeah, it's like you gotta. Part of it is if you believe it, it can affect you because sometimes even if it isn't real, it affects you because you think it is. But yeah, I don't. I'm not a fan. And like I said, Bishop Long, he collects those things because people don't want them. So he basically collects them and he stores
Somebody's
them.
about to come in, so
Okay,
I might have to go.
all right, well, tell everybody goodbye while you're going, and we'll go by. So
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
that's all right. It's overtime anyway. We love you, and can't wait to see you guys again next week. And if there's something you guys want us to talk about, let us know, and we'll be happy to do that. Okay, so just make sure. All right. So, Bear, see you for the rest of the week.